Adam,
Hello.
good to see you. For those who don't know who you are, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, my name's Adam Bowser. I'm the managing director at Pyramid Plastics, Pyramid Motorcycle Accessories that we're trading as. Yeah.
Awesome.
How did the journey begin for you?
Business-wise, I moved back to Gainsborough in 2017, so I've been living in Manchester for quite a lot of years. Basically, it's a family business. The business started in '86. My dad started the business with another chap from Gainsborough.
Wow.
As a business partner. I think he did design, industrial design at college in Birmingham, Coventry I think it was actually, and then worked for a few companies. Worked in rally cycles. You've probably heard of rally cycles.
I've heard of it. I don't really know it, but I've heard of it.
Old British.
Bicycle company. So he went there working in the design team, I believe, doing design of bikes, basically, push bikes. And then I think he had another job working with a company designing the shock, like the, what are they called?
Oh,
it's got
yes.
Is it conical or something like that?
Yeah.
Conical? Can't remember the name of it.
I can't remember the name, but
The little glass that measures the
the
whiskey or whatever.
Can't remember what a bar looks like.
Yeah. What's that? What's one of those? Designing those for a while. I think he had quite a decent job actually at the time, but he just didn't like working for someone else. Effectively, classic.
Classic entrepreneur.
I think all three of us are a bit like that.
Yeah. So he basically was like, I could do this better, I could do that better. Blah blah blah. This is wrong. That's wrong. I'll go and set up on my own. And I think around that time, like his friend, I think his mate was in the army and had come out of the army, perhaps had some money to invest in something, had experience in fiberglass molding.
Okay.
Which is kind of where he brought the fiberglass molding experience into it, I believe. So he came back to Gaines. He was raised in the Lincoln area, and his friend was from Gainsborough. This chap his dad had a space in the old engineering works. So Marshall's Yard, that is now Marshall's Yard, used to be the engineering works, and in there his dad had a section of that he basically gave them to use. I don't think they paid any rent on it. I think he just said, have it, go in there, lads, and do what you want.
Start.
And this is what I mean. Like people like that chap, obviously helping your dad out and stuff like that. Like, my God, I always, if it's not for people like that, entrepreneurs sometimes won't be who they are. Getting started.
100%. Yeah, especially like the early days is where it's really difficult, isn't it? And so. Yeah, so they started in there, and I think initially they were doing all sorts of fiberglass products, so it wasn't really specifically bike stuff when they started. It was anything.
So they make the moulds as well?
They were, at that time, they were doing everything. Yeah. So at that time, it was kind of come up with a design for whatever the product is, and they did, I think it was pickup truck covers, tool chests for pickups.
Right, so they did replacement panels for cars or trucks?
I believe it was all still kind of aftermarket add-on stuff. Right, so it was like, we'll do a cover for that truck, or we'll do a
spoiler or something.
Yeah. And also they were doing some contracting stuff, so they worked on an airport roof. They did at one point, like a big dome roof on an airport terminal. I can't remember which one it was, somewhere in London.
That's not an easy job.
No, apparently it was a nightmare. They had to go down and fit it as well, and it was like something they'd never done before. So it was just a ridiculous job, really, to take on.
Yeah.
I think from what he's told me, there was a lot of that, like contract. They did a lot of contracting initially, and it was just hard work and easy to not get paid by the customer, and stuff would change after you'd done a load of work. You wouldn't get paid for it, stuff like that.
Wow.
So, and then they did a motorcycle somewhere along the line. They did a motorcycle part. I think it was just
I was just gonna get to it. I was like, so they've gone from a roof to a car to Where does the motorbike come into here?
Yeah, well, I don't quite know why they did it. I'm not sure on the backstory of that, but they did a mudguard. I think it was like a rear mudguard for a bike, and it was just really successful. They just had this product. They'd made the mold for it. It was easy, quite a small. A mold's probably about that size, so it's a small thing to deal with.
Yeah,
it's easy to make it. It's easy to store it and ship it, and they just started selling them. And I think they were like, "All right, that's easy. That's way easier than doing a roof for some airport and driving it down to London and fitting it.
Same thing with my job. It's much easier to just sell little bits.
Yeah.
It's easy to make, and rather than big heavy stuff. It's just,
exactly.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, so I think that just worked, and then they just reproduced that. They were just like, right, let's do more of that.
And obviously making that product, I'm guessing it was quite a big, successful hit, and it kept going and going and going, and like with sales and stuff.
I think so. I think back in those days, the motorcycle market was quite different. There were a lot less bikes, so you could make a hugger for the latest Suzuki, and there was probably only that model out, and that model will be there for quite a while. So you're going to sell hundreds of the same thing rather than tens of loads of different things.
Because I always say this: you can make any amount of different products, but that one product is what could set a business from where it is to the next level. Yeah, and obviously for you guys, I'm guessing it was.
Yeah, we're massively like that now. We're coming up to nowadays, like we've got thousands of SKUs. I think we've got upwards of 25,000 SKUs on our system.
Jeez.
Wow.
We don't stock all of that at once, but we've got that many things that we could sell, and they're all listed on our website. So, if, a certain percentage of it, people just order it, and we order it from the supplier, a one-off. Yeah. Because we don't sell enough of them to warrant keeping a load of them in the warehouse.
Yeah. There's no point in keeping tons of stuff on the shelf. It's just ridiculous.
No, exactly. Which we have done in the past. It's quite a job keeping on top of that, really, because it's there's a lot of SKUs, there's a lot of data to look at, and if you're not on top of it, you end up with a portion of your warehouse is just full of stuff that's not going anywhere.
What brands do you work with in the motorcycle industry, or brands in general?
Quite a few now. Yeah, we are up to probably between 10 and 15 brands, I think.
Can you say what brands they are? Big ones?
So people in the bike industry will probably know companies like Pooch. They're a Spanish manufacturer of parts and accessories for bikes.
I had a Pooch 50.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. So that would be a...
The old frame that comes up. It's a bomb around village on it.
Yeah.
2 and 3 up.
That's where it all comes. That's where all our customers come from. It's people who thrashed around as kids on bikes, and then they get to retirement age and they're like, I'm getting a bike again. Yeah. It's going to be great fun. So Pooch, the guys we deal with are a Spanish company who do similar stuff to us. Yeah. Bodywork, accessories, screens they're mainly known for. They've been going since the 50s.
Wow.
So they're in their third generation.
Yeah.
And it's the chap who is kind of, his dad still works in the company, but he's my age basically. And he'll be running that place fairly soon.
But no.
There's a company in France called Ermax that we've dealt with for a long time. So both these companies we've dealt with since the 90s.
Wow.
And they're, again, bodywork and accessories, same kind of thing that we do, but just their own take on it. And they do a lot of painted products and quite specialist stuff. So we import...
Is it just bikes you do, or is it...
Just motorcycles,
mainly bikes?
Yeah, and it's all road bikes, really. So we're not into, motocross, enduro, trials. We don't do anything with that, really.
Oh, right, okay. I thought you would have done, actually.
Not really. There's an odd few products that have crept in from other brands that we sell, because we sell their range. Yeah. But not...
So like touring bikes and stuff like that then?
Yeah, tourers, adventure bikes, naked bikes, which are a big popular thing now, which is basically a super bike. Yeah. No fairing on it. Yeah, everything. Retro bikes, anything that's on the road, really.
Awesome, yeah.
So in the UK, predominantly we sell to the UK market. Kind of 70% is UK.
Would you say all over the UK?
Yeah, really. Yeah, people buying stuff up in, islands up north of Scotland, and people down bottom of the country are buying stuff. Yeah, it's all over.
Do you make stuff like the saddlebags and stuff, the side bags?
We do offer some products like that.
Yeah.
More for like cruiser, Harley type bikes.
Yeah.
We don't sell many things. We haven't got much in the kind of luggage sector yet. But the boxes are something that we've considered. But there's there's a lot of competition in that area, and there's a lot of big brands that have kind of got it sewn up already.
Yeah.
And the manufacturers now put their own boxes.
A lot of competition these days and everything.
Yeah. So we're kind of... And the other thing about boxes, like you were saying about selling small, easy stuff, like boxes are massive. So they'll take up a lot of shelf space. You're shipping basically fresh air around most of the time, so there's big boxes going everywhere. If you want to send it overseas, it's going to cost a fortune. So we've kind of not bothered with them so far.
Right.
But another thing we have started doing is like soft luggage, so like waterproof duffel bags that you can strap to your bike. They're really popular. Started doing them in the last kind of year or so,
and it's worked really well for you guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's something we just decided to try after seeing them at a trade show. But yeah, we could do that.
Do you guys normally like look at something, see it, and then go, we'll give it a trial a little bit, see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
If it works, we'll keep it. If not, we'll chop and change for something else that keeps.
Definitely.
Definitely. Keeping it fresh, basically.
You have to. Yeah, you've kind of got to just test the water with stuff. Obviously, we've got knowledge of the marketplace through the years of doing it. We know which bikes are popular, which types of products are probably going to be worth looking at. But there's always.
I'll do the same thing with trade shows. Design and build something. I'll take it.
Yeah.
See if it creates any interest. But
yeah.
If it doesn't. Often it don't. Then it just gets shelved.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it, you know.
We started using social media for stuff like that a lot as well, like joining Facebook groups. There's a group for every bike basically. So yeah, we can go in there with an idea, post it in the group, get feedback from the people who own that bike.
Yeah. Because I was looking at your socials. Your socials have got really good numbers.
Yeah. We've started to put a lot of time and effort into that in the last kind of year or so, really.
I think you've got 2 these days, haven't you?
1,000,000%. Social media is the way forward for any business now.
Yeah.
To get your word out there and get going.
Yeah, causes just gets traction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Jake, we've got a chap called Jake who does our social media now.
Yeah.
It's good.
What makes your company different from other businesses out there?
I guess we're fairly unique in the way that we kind of mix design. We design our own products.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose not everybody does that. We kind of mix that with importing and distributing other brands as well. So there are other companies in our sector who also design accessories for motorcycles.
Yeah.
Typically they stay with just selling their own product, just their own brand. And I guess it's like, they don't want to sell someone else's mudguard when they can sell their own mudguard. So I understand that. But we've kind of evolved in the last decade really to become more of a kind of importer and distributor of other people's brands as well, as a way of just growing the business really.
Yeah, and it has to make business sense, because at the end of the day, if you're selling someone else's brand, you're gonna take a bit of a slice of the pie with that.
Mm-hmm.
As anybody would. And again, you're not keeping that market just to you. So they'd be like, oh, go to Pyramid Plastic, they got this in. Where other people if they stick to their own brand, there's not much. You can't spread your wings that much with it.
Yeah, it's difficult if you're someone like Pooch, the guys in Spain who I mentioned, who are the third generation company, like they are a massive company. They cover pretty much all sectors of the market with regards to bolt-on bits, and they've got a big enough team of designers, and they've got a manufacturing plant of their own that they can offer something for every bike.
Yeah,
we haven't got the capacity to do that. So we've kind of realised that, we can fill in the areas we can't do with other brands.
Yeah.
So someone can still come to us and buy all these bits for their bike. Screens, fairings, levers, mirrors, foot pegs. And because we offer these other brands, we can sell them a product, all of those products.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we came from on it. And it seems to work pretty well. And it's like, as we've grown...
You're basically diversing your market to... bigger audience and stuff like that.
Yeah, it just brings more eyes to your existing product line as well, because people are seeing other brands there and go, oh, you sell that as well, so I'll come and check that out. Oh, while I'm there, seeing you do a mudguard for this or whatever.
Yeah. And it's very easily done. Let's be honest. When you go online shopping, you're like, oh, I just need this, and it gives you a suggestion of somewhere else, and you're like, $5.99 add,
and that's in a basket.
And that one add. Do you need insurance for a tenner? Add.
Exactly.
Oh, God. By the time you're done, your bill's like, you only went to go and spend 30 quid, and now it's 100 quid.
Yeah, exactly. God. Exactly. That's how it works. That is how it works. So, that's kind of how we differ, I suppose. We try a lot of new things as well. So because we haven't got our own manufacturing set up, all of our manufacturing is now done by subcontractors, basically, all UK based.
Yeah. All UK based.
Yeah, everything's
nothing imported.
Good. We do import some products,
but
everything that we design and have manufactured buy our own design is all UK.
Oh,
Yeah.
big. That is.
Yeah.
That's
That's pretty good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's
So-
fantastic.
And that's it's something we like to hang our hat on, really, because it's like
100%.
not everyone, most people don't do that anymore.
So we discussed this between us. So we know a lot of people that do editing and do this and do that and do this.
Mm-hmm.
And when we've gone to like people and said, or Lee's gone to somebody and said, can we do this? Or I've gone to someone, can you do that? They want to, they'll charge like up here. But then when we've had this same conversation with like people abroad, we're getting the price difference to here.
Mm-hmm.
And that gap, and I'm like, for me, I always say this, I would rather feed somebody who I know and give you the work and give you the what needs to be done, so you make money, because we know each other.
Yeah.
But then to try charging me up here when I can get it done for here is like, it's too much of a gap.
Difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Difficult. It is difficult. Like for us, like for every business, the China situation is quite hard, because all of our products get copied almost instantly.
What does the future hold for you personally and for the business?
For me personally, quite a lot. We've got loads going on. Me and my fiance, we've got 2 kids now. We've just sold our house, moved out of that. We haven't actually bought a new house yet, so we're living at
Living in factory.
Yeah. I don't think I could handle that.
Your team walking like,
Yeah.
Adam, you're here.
Don't use this part of the warehouse, because we're living in here now.
It's 5 a.m. Yeah, I just wanted the coffee. Come in early.
Yeah. We're staying at her dad's at the moment, which is very good of him to put us up. The place we were going to buy has fallen through.
Okay.
So
It's so stressful.
Yeah.
It's buying and selling houses.
Yeah, it's taken ages. It's been a bit of a nightmare, but I think we're getting there. So, yeah, we're looking forward to getting that sorted and done. Business-wise, we've just built a new warehouse on the site.
Okay.
So we've extended. We had about 220 square meters of warehouse space. Now we've got about 500 and something. So
PB Powdercoats used to be next door, didn't they?
That's right. So on our site we've got our main warehouse and office, and then we've got a second unit, which we were renting to PB.
Yeah.
And then we've just built another warehouse on the back of the main one. So that was that's took 2023. End of 23 we started building it, or the builders started. And it's just about usable now. It's just about finished.
Brilliant.
Because on obviously Phil's podcast, he mentions that your dad basically helped him out, and that's how we got going. And when he told us that story and told us obviously how you guys were involved, straight away after I said to Lee, these are the guys we are getting on next. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because it's, again, like I said to you, like my old landlord, I was just starting from the ground up with just a random gym.
Mm-hmm.
And he helped me and guided you, and he was like,
yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah. Give you a leg up.
Yeah, and I owe him for that always.
You need that, definitely. Yeah, I think my dad got that when he started, and obviously he passed that on to Phil. Did that favour on to Phil when Phil was ready to start. So yeah, at the time the company that was about the time I got back. I think maybe the year before I started back at Pyramid. So probably 2016. Yeah. Sometime like that. And at that time, Pyramid was we were a much smaller business. We were probably, I think we've like 3 or 4x since then, size of the company. So we didn't need all the space we had. We weren't using it all.
Yeah.
And that building was literally just empty.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, let Phil get stuck in, starting there, see where he goes.
Awesome.
Now you look at Phil and growing a monster.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with you guys, how you said you were small and now you just exploded up.
We'll help each other.
That's it. Yeah, we got to the stage where we just needed all the space on the site, and then shortly after that we needed more than all the space on the site, so we had to build a warehouse. And we were looking at moving, and we were considering can we just buy somewhere else, sell this site and buy somewhere else. And
honestly, these days, if you can expand your business, then you're doing something right.
This is what I was just going to ask. I find it always very interesting, because I always go from, how does somebody go from a small brand to start creating a monster?
Mm-hmm.
with the growth, what would you say you've implemented with the strategy to grow it?
There's lots of factors. The first thing, so when I went back to the business, my job was really kind of sales manager, and we didn't really have anyone doing sales, proactive sales at that time. So my job was kind of go out to the trade. So we're 50-50 now, but we were 70% trade, B2B. So like selling to dealerships around the country, motorcycle dealers. That was really where the business was. So my job was to go and speak to those guys, find out what we could do to help them buy more, really. How could we improve business? And the thing that I got back from all of them was just, your website's shocking. We would buy from you, but your website's terrible. That's why we're buying from this other company.
Really?
Okay,
So literally within a couple of months of doing that, I was like, yeah, everyone says the website's shocking. That's obviously what we need to do. So came back into the business, stopped going out to see people, and was like, right, that's what we need to do. So I started working on how we got a new website. We didn't have anyone in-house that could do it. So obviously you look at outside companies who can, get a supplier who can do that for us.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I kind of did some research of companies that I'd bought from before. So as a kid, I used to skateboard. So I used to buy things from skateboard companies, Roller Snakes, Route One, companies like that.
Yeah.
Who do like skateboards,
I
clothing.
still skateboard now.
Yeah. So you know these.
I've got a longboard.
You know these companies. Then.
I'm so sorry. I feel so. I don't know what these companies are. Like every time.
Z Wheels. You remember Z Wheels?
No.
I'm going back to
No.
I don't know if you're making that up because of my name, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I basically I just emailed them out of the blue and said, "You've got a great website. I've been using you for years. I'd like some. If you can help me and let me know how you got your website, who did it for you. Any help, it would be greatly appreciated." And one of the companies came back to me, and it was a chap who worked for Roller Snakes, a guy called James, who was also a biker, so he knew our brand, and he was like, "Yeah, I built the website here. I've done it all. I could give you some tips on it. Blah blah blah." Had a chat with him on the phone. He gave me his point of view on it, and that was it. And I'd found an outside company who were going to build it for us at that point. So he was kind of just giving me advice at that point. A couple of years down the line, the outside company didn't provide what they said they were going to. We lost out. It cost us a load of money. We didn't get what we wanted. We still had a crap website. He contacted me back at that point and was like, "I've just come to buy an extender fender for my new bike. Notice your website hasn't changed. What's going on?" Told him what had happened. Having a nightmare trying to get this done. And he was like, "Oh, well, I'm thinking about leaving my job at Roller Snakes. Like, do you want me to come and work for you guys?" And I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like a good idea."
Brilliant.
So, that was in 2019. And he's our econ manager now. Still works for us. So he travels over he lives near in the Ripley area, Derby way.
Yes, I know that area really well.
Yeah, so he travels over. He does 3 days a week in the office and 2 days at home. So that was getting that website was like a key part of it, really.
Yeah.
And he was also coming over from a bigger business. So the company he was in was like.
So that would help huge. I always say this: if you've had a guy who can operate at a certain level, and then you bring him into a business that's.
I mean, he'd be able to make a smaller business
grow.
Exactly. Brought a lot
exponentially,
a lot of ideas with him. So
if he can handle a bigger.
What kind of processes do you probably need in place to be able to process double the amount of orders? Like, what communication systems would you be using? All that kind of stuff. So he brought knowledge with him from a bigger company, which we've implemented around the business, and that's transformed things.
But it's made a huge difference.
Massively.
Because what I really found fascinating, and I've been like this for a little bit, is first generations when they set a company up. I always think, because you get some second generation that just remain with the same business, don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I know other second generations that have grown the business, a bit like you or yourself have, to the next level.
Yeah.
And turn that like 4-5 figure business into a 6-7 figure business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I always go that it takes a certain amount of knowledge, experience, and having the right team around you to grow it to that point.
100%. The team, the knowledge in the team is key. Like the team is absolutely key. So it's good. Like the reason it's been I'd say a bit easier, or I suppose it is a bit easier as a second generation, is that you've got the brand there already. Like everyone knows, everyone in the motorcycle industry knows Pyramid. We've been doing it for years. So if all we've got to do is increase our output, improve the quality, and just do more of what works, really, which is all we've done.
Do you sell all over the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ship all over the world.
70% UK, 30% outside the UK.
That's weird, though, because 70% of my business is US.
Really?
Yeah, about 30% UK.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
it's strange, isn't it?
That's weird, that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'd say probably not a massive amount of ours is US, so I'd say like 20% is probably EU, and then the rest of the 10%.
I don't get any EU anymore since Brexit.
No, Brexit screwed that up for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't actually get anything.
No.
No, not one sale.
Wow. Just people don't like the fact that they don't know what the duty's going to be, or
they just don't like paying duty.
Yeah.
On high priced items, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing we did was I got involved with a business coach.
Okay.
And that was like another transformational thing to do. Like, he just came into the business. So I worked with him during COVID. There was like a peer network group in Lincolnshire. I got an email just to you're on a mailing list, and they just said, "Do you want to join this peer network group?" It's like one Zoom call every 2 or 3 weeks for
that's normally the case.
2 hours.
Yeah,
and you meet. It's 12 other business owners and a guy. It was Tim, the business owner, running it.
Sorry, Tim.
Tim Sutton, his name is.
I don't know if I'd know that name.
No, he's business coach. He's kind of getting close towards retiring now, so he's not really. I think he's slowing down a bit on what he's doing. But he's worked with Joey from FINA. Yeah, I passed him on to Joe, and I think a little bit with Phil as well, perhaps at PB. But yeah, he basically came into the business. And just kind of looks at the business structure with you. Looks at, have you got what's your 5-year plan? What are the values in the business that everyone's centered around? What's the structure? What's the hierarchy in the business? And most of this stuff we haven't got set up.
So basically, put the fundamentals in the business, what you need.
Yeah,
the structure and the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Of it.
So it's like coming in and going, right, now you're a X turnover business.
Yeah.
If you want to get to the next level, which is this, you need these things in place.
Yeah.
And it helps you put them in place, and then reap the rewards as you go on. Yeah, I mean, that's what you need to do. If you 100%, I would say anyone who's a small business owner, look at working with a business coach. Like, just do it. Yeah, worth it. At the time, you're like, oh, it's £1,000 for whatever, X amount of hours, but it's just invaluable.
Yeah,
really is. Yeah.
I like I said, them kind of people, I enjoy. I could rack their brains off.
Yeah.
Every minute of the second of the day.
Yeah.
Because experience like that is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They've been there and done it, so it's like they've grown a small business to a big one. So it's kind of like James, who came in on the website. Like, he had done a website for a company that was small and been with them the whole time until they were a large business. So he'd seen how that worked.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you can get people on your team who know these things and have done these things, have got experience, then it's got to help. Definitely going to help.
And would you say, obviously, with the business coach, the website person, you were just seeing... Because, let's be honest, when you're at that stage where you're going to expand, it takes quite a bit of time. But when you get the right people in, bro, you can change the game instantly. Yeah. I've seen it with hundreds of entrepreneurs. When they're at a certain level, then they work with a certain coach, and they've just... I know a guy who went to prison, come out of prison... He was just a bit of a young offender, come out of prison, wanted to change his life, started getting into property, and then basically started working with a mentor. Mm-hmm. They set all the processes up for what he does and stuff like that, coaching and blah, blah, blah. Soon as he did a lead generation, so he was doing content, did a lead generation after 3 weeks, his first day on going on to the public made £50,000. And he came out of prison a month ago. And now that same entrepreneur, I got him on social media, he now lives in Dubai and has like a 7-8 figure business.
Wow.
Yeah. In the UK, he's at one of the biggest in what he does. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean by having the right
skills
and knowledge and the right people with you.
You're not going to know that stuff. Like, I ended up in the position of directing a business. Never been a managing director before. Never even been a manager before with people. So... you've got to learn how to do those things
Yeah.
before you're going to be good at doing them. So you have to getting help from an outside source is the best thing you can do, I think.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And having the right team within.
Getting the right team, the team is just really, really important. So now I spend a lot of my time just working on the team and trying to make sure we've got a good team environment in the business and that everyone's happy. It's key. Really is key.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. If somebody wants to follow your journey, how do they get in contact with you?
Best way is probably just Facebook. We do a lot of Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. They're the 3 platforms, really.
Yeah.
And the names are?
So all of them, the handle is Pyramid Moto 86.
Brilliant.
And that'll take you to all of our pages. Our website is pyramidmoto.co.uk. Check us out on there. We've got a lot of social media stuff going on. We're constantly filming bikes, filming new parts that we're putting out, interacting with the biking community, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Your content is brilliant. I look at everything content based. I am on.
Yeah.
If it's on the internet, I'm involved, and like your content is spot on.
Yeah, we've put that down to Jake. There's a chap called Jake who works for us, who's worked for us for quite a long time now. He did his work experience with us when he was at school.
Oh wow!
And now still works with us now. Yeah, he does all of our social media. He's a YouTuber outside of work, and he's just kind of brought all that skill into the business. And so,
okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for taking your time out, and I hope everybody enjoys this podcast in our new studio. Our first guest.
Thanks a lot. Thanks
Mr.
for having me,
Adam
guys.
Bowser.
I really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thanks for coming down.
Cheers.